Hi everyone, this is Naomi, and this is my cousin Megan. She has a channel called Meghan Hanet, and she talks about bookish things, so we like to read together and talk about books together.
Buddy read.
Exactly. We've been buddy reading for over 2 years now.
Yep, long time.
It's been crazy fun, but it's just something we enjoy doing together. So we read a lot of classics, and we thought we'd do a classics tag.
Yes, and we actually did a Jane Austen video over on my channel, so go check that out.
Yes, we ranked our Jane Austen books, so there might be a few surprises there, so hopefully you go over and check it out and see. So we're going to do this tag, and it's done by It's a Bookish World, and I'll link the blog post down below. It's an interesting tag. It's like 10 questions, and it's just asking questions about classics I don't think a lot of people ask.
And this is kind of an old tag, but we're like, it's a good tag, so we're going to do it.
We wanted to do it, even though it's been done a long time ago.
Yep.
So the first question is an overhyped classic. So we both actually have the same answer.
Yep.
And I don't own a copy, so we had to get from the library, and it's Lord of the Flies.
Yes.
Hopefully you can see from the glare.
I hate this book.
Yeah, me too. I don't understand why it's so interesting.
Yeah. It's disturbing. I read it in high school, and part of it might have been I read it in high school, and I was expecting it to be this nice story about these kids, like, on an island, like, lost on an island, and it was, like, horrifying. So.
Well, like, it's categorized as an adult fiction, so why are we reading it in high school?
Yeah.
That's my question. It was just so grotesque and really graphic. For, like, as a teenager, I was not impressed.
And it does have good things to say about the world.
Yes.
I totally see what it's saying, like the deeper message. I totally, I'm like, that's true, that's important, but I don't want to read about it. So.
Yeah, and not in that kind of context. Thank you very much. So the second question is a favorite time period to read about, and mine is like 1800s. I like early 1800s and late 1800s. It kind of covers everything in my genre.
Yeah, and I love history. Like, I love history so much, so I'm like, it's hard to narrow it down, so I'm just going to say 1850 to 1950, because that covers some of the Victorian period, that covers, like, the World Wars, the interwar years. But, yeah, I like a lot of different eras, so that's hard to narrow it down.
Yep. Question number 3 is a favorite fairy tale. So do you want to...
Yeah, for me... I don't love fairy tales hugely, but I do love the whole Cinderella story. Like, rags to riches is an interesting concept, and the way the movie Ever After with Drew Barrymore did it, I thought that was, like, pretty cool.
That's a really good adaptation.
Yeah.
My favorite is actually Alice in Wonderland, so it's a massive book. This is one that I really enjoy. I think it's very whimsical and makes you really go down the rabbit hole in a literal sense and also in the book.
Yes.
It's very, very good. I've read both Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, and they're both very interesting, so I really do enjoy that one a lot. Question number 4 is the most embarrassing classic you haven't read yet, and this is the one that we were going to read together, 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago, and we never read it together.
We still have not read it. We still buddy read, and we still have not read it.
And that is... Great expectations! And we always hear that we need to do it, and we still have not done it.
Everyone loves it and say we're going to love it, and I know I will love it, but just
doesn't happen.
No.
We will hopefully do it. We're reading the Percy Jackson series right now together, so maybe after that, we'll see what happens.
Unless we read something else. That typically happens too.
Yeah.
Number 5. It says the top 5 classics, but for sake of time, we're gonna go with the top 1 that we would like to read. And mine is Heidi. I have never gotten through this one. I'm like 5 chapters in, and I never get past chapter 5. So I got the audiobook, and I can't wait to read it too.
Yeah, I have not read it either, but it looks like a sweet book. So, for me, we've read The Scarlet Pimpernel together, with my sister Sarah, over at Sarah Hanet. That's her channel, so check her out. And I love this book. I love the movie versions. I want to read the sequels, like The Elusive Pimpernel. I can't remember what they're all called, but I really want to read all of them. So, yeah.
Oh, yes. They look so good.
Yeah.
We just need to read them, along with every other book in the world.
That's a higher priority than Great Expectations for me. Like, if I'm honest, I would rather read that than Great Expectations.
It's supposed to be a little more lighthearted.
Yes.
All right, next question. Modern book or series, so written work, that is based on a classic that's your favorite. So mine is by Deborah Whitesmith, and this is the first one called First Impressions. She has a whole series, so it's the Jane Austen series. She did 6 of them. I've read like 3 of them. Some of them are hit and miss, and some of them are good. I really liked Mansfield Park that she did of this adaptation, but this one is about Elizabeth and William, who are cast in their town's play of Pride and Prejudice.
I need to read this. I didn't know.
It is hilarious because like and Jane and like Lizzie is like, she's a plus size girl. She's like size 10. She's not like stick figure, and
which is still skinny. That's still skinny.
It's still skinny, but she's not like, she's not size 2, which is nice. And then she is like cast as Lizzie, and this guy's cast as Darcy, and she hates his guts, and it basically follows this whole life thing. And I will say this: the proposal scene in this is so cute.
I hope it happens on stage.
Cute. It does, and it's so cute. So I love this series. So I think she's a great writer, and I love these covers. Yeah, because all of them have this kind of cover. It's great.
I need to read that.
Yeah.
For me, it's also Jane Austen related. It's called A Walk with Jane Austen, so by Laurie Smith. So Laurie Smith, she had a blog, and so she took a trip to England, and she did like all of Jane Austen's houses, and just like visited all the Jane Austen sites, and she wrote blog entries on that and turned it into a book, and it's so good. Like I want to follow in Laurie Smith's footsteps and like see all these places that she did, and like it's really good. It makes you think. And it's also entertaining. So, yeah. Best of both worlds.
Nice. The next one is your favorite movie or TV version based on a classic. So, go ahead.
For me, it is the 2004 BBC North and South. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah. I love the book of North and South, and that adaptation does justice to the book. Like, it's so good. Yeah.
For me, it is Jane Eyre, the 2011 version. I think it's just so dramatic and so artistic. I love how beautiful it is and how it was filmed and everything. So I really love that one.
Yes.
Yeah. So the next one is your worst, the opposite, worst classic to screen adaptation. And for me, Jane Eyre from the 1980s. I watched it and I was cringing the whole time. And by the end, I was like, can we just get this over with? I don't want to watch it anymore. I just want to see it end.
Yeah.
So, didn't like it.
And for me, it's another 1980s BBC one, just like Jane Eyre. But for me, it's the Pride and Prejudice version. Mr. Darcy, he's talking like this all the time. He talks like this. My goodness. And Lizzie, she talks more like this. Maybe I'm exaggerating. I'm sure I'm exaggerating. But I could not stand it. Drove me nuts.
So the next question is more editions you'd like to collect. So like what kind? So for me, it's this Barnes and Noble version of classics. It has like sprayed edges, and the inside pages are great. I just love the leather bound, and they have a bookmark. I think they're just so cool. So this is my Frankenstein version. I also have Pride and Prejudice somewhere around. So
yeah, somewhere.
Yes.
And for me, it's these word cloud books. This is actually Naomi's book. This isn't mine, but I do have Anne of Green Gables in this edition, and I just think they're gorgeous. Like and they're fun to hold and read. Like they're easy to use. So yeah, I really love them. Naomi also has Robin Hood. And
the Count of Monte Cristo.
So, yeah, I love those books.
And then the last question is, the last question is an underhyped classic you want to promote or you'd recommend.
For me, it's Jo's Boys by Louisa May Alcott. So there's 3 books in the Little Women series. Technically 4. Little Women, the second part of Little Women is called Good Wives. Then there's Little Men, and then Jo's Boys. So Jo's Boys, all her students that she taught are grown up, and it's really fun, and it's just, I love seeing what happens to all the characters when they're grown up, and there's a lot of like hilarious stuff that happens, and like heartwarming stuff and beautiful stuff. So it's good.
For me, it's The Wizard of Oz. I don't know how many people think that this is just a movie. Because it is like a 15-book set of like Wizard of Oz.
And that's a beautiful edition.
This has it's a 3-book bind up, and I have the whole set here. So this is volume 1 of the 5. And they're just so well done. I think that they're just like, they teach good messages. I just love them. They're also creative, and you just have to think like, Frank Baum must have been like a genius.
Yeah.
He had to create something so wonderful as Wizard of Oz. And it's really a favorite of mine, but I don't think anyone knows it's a book.
Well, I mean, I was in Wizard of Oz, and some people knew it was a book. Like, and the books are quite different. Like, the shoes are silver; they're not ruby.
Oh, it's very different. And like even the like follow-up books, they're all like they follow different characters. I grew up on the Omas of Oz, or the Ozma of Oz. I always say that wrong. And it's like book number 4. I remember reading that. It's such a great story too. So I really do love them, and I wish more people would read them. At least the whole series too, because there's more than just the first one.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's the classics tag.
Yeah, we love classics.
we love classics. Read a lot together, and we have a lot of fun with classics. So it's probably our favorite genre that we both have. So yeah, if you would like to subscribe to either of us, I'll link Meghan below, and please subscribe. And if you have a favorite classic, please let us know, especially an underrated one, because I'd love to find more that not many people talk about. You know, so please leave a comment below with your suggestions, and we might buddy read one eventually.
Yes.
So, yeah, I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.